It's now time to give you the starting lineup for tonight's feature. Like we said earlier, Luke Turpin is on pole, but he is starting from the rear due to blinking last time out. So this moves Chase Johnson up to pole and Jordan Babinger on row 1. Row 2, Austin Edwards and Kendrick Cryer. Jonathan Bronson inside on row 3, looking to get some, looking to come back after getting wrecked in the final laps last week at Oxford. Mike Stoddard next to him. The fourth row, Kenny Tripp and Gregorio Emiliano Dorso. His best start of the season at a short track. Rounding out the top 10, the teammates Tyler McRae, Trevor Birchmeyer. Row 6, Patrick Sullivan and Octavio Rondeletto. Row 7, it's Jeremy Leto. Best start of the season at a short track, I believe, for him as well. And Thanos Gerald Poole. Row 8, it's Greg Holes in the number 19. Matt Bear unable to make it tonight. They've withdrawn the 61 out of the Rolling Thunder camp for tonight. Clinus LaBeouf next to him. The 9th row, Sean Andrews and Charlie Beals. Row number 10, Blake Wynn and Tyler Batchelder. The 11th row gives us John Friley, Steven Rex. Rest of the field we go. Sean Patrick, Jose Gaudino. And Robert Colgan, Bowen Smith, Joe Campbell, Art Hendren, Jeff Edgar, Daniel Miller, Alex Krebser making his return, Travis Suka, Brett Edgar, Aiden McConaughey, Riley Duncan, Derek Colson, Logan Jones, Jonathan Schwartz, Alex Gingler, Luke Turpin, Tyler Jalbert, and Shane Briggs. The field of 42 for tonight. Field rolling off, 1.5 laps to go until we go green at Southern National Motorsports Park. Like to welcome those of you watching tonight on Twitch and Facebook at How to Suck at iRacing. Let us know who you are, where you're from, and who you are supporting tonight. We're glad to have you along to spend your Tuesday night with us. As they go in turns 1 and 2, Chase Johnson, Jordan Babinger. Johnson to win this season at USA. Jordan Babinger, 2 wins this season. As we say, race fans, strap in and hold on tight, because these men are about to turn them loose and drop the sledgehammer. It is show time at SNMP.
Off into turn number 1 they go. They are all side by side. Obviously, Chase Johnson gets a really good jump and gets out to the lead, looking back through the pack just to make sure everybody, there's a lot of leaning and beating and banging through the first lap. Everybody manages to get around, and it is worth noting, just a couple of weeks, Octavio Rondeletto talking about selling that team. Now he's got Gregorio back here with him, both cars in the field, and they are towards the top here tonight, showing, hey, he made the right move keeping that team.
Winner, by the way, last lap on the front straightaway. I was Logan Jones in the 08, not the way he wanted to start, but everyone trying to fight for that inside line as quick as possible. As Chase Johnson leads Jordan Babinger, Austin Edwards, Kendrick Cryer, and Jonathan Bronson. That's your top 10, and we got a couple cars in the wall. I think it was Tyler McRae, one of them, as he's fading back, and he's around in turn 1.
It was Tyler McRae trying to get the replay pulled up on that, as a lot of chaos came right after it. Everybody manages to keep it straight, though. Let's see if we can see what happened here as they come out of the turn, and it looks like the 78 and the 99 got together. The 99 was loose up off the turn and got into the and they just get together, and that brings out, well, not the first caution, but definitely the first incident. Sean Patrick has been to pit road as well.
Jeremy Leto also spinning down the back straightaway and stopped on the track, and it accordions the field. 3 wide, nearly 4 wide in turn 3. This is getting crazy as they're all trying to duck away from Jeremy Leto. Don't know why he didn't tow that thing to the pits as soon as possible. Why is Leto still backing up? This is insanity. This is absurd. Leto needs to just put it in park and tow that thing. Somehow he keeps it going, but that's a dangerous thing, especially at a narrow track like SNMP. And he's right in front of the leaders in a battle for the lead. Edwards underneath Babinger.
Leto all the way to the wall as he finally gets back up to speed, stacks up the field behind him. Now they're 3 wide behind him.
That's Mike Stoddard in the 52, way loose down the back straightaway. Keeps it going. And what happened to Chase Johnson in the 57? We saw him in the lead, and then he lost the lead and nearly got turned by Leto there for a moment.
He is now back into 6th place. Not sure what happened. I think it was just avoidance. He was a lot of people checking up, and a few people checked up more than others, and I think Chase might have been one of them. But we know he will be able to get back up there. He's had a fast car all week long, and I am sure he's going to be just sitting in and trying to get the long run going, as you heard him say in the pre-race.
I was telling you when we had Tyler McRae and Gregorio Emiliano Dorso get together, keep in mind, there is a lot of bad blood between those two drivers, even in the Discord. It all started back in Michigan when Ron DeLetto and McRae got together. Dorso was playing backup, and those two have just been exchanging jabs back and forth on each other, trying to get the last word. Dorso, with some right-end damage, currently running in the 12th position, right behind Greg Holes in that number 19.
It does look like he might have tagged the wall with the right rear of that car. It's pushed in just a little bit, not too bad. Yeah, he is way loose as we watch him come off of turn 2. He is way loose coming up off the corner. I'm guaranteeing you that's how he got that right side damage, but looks like he's got a grip on it again. But, man, he was getting loose like crazy there for a bit. And meanwhile, Austin Edwards is now about to be into lap traffic, and lap traffic was the story last time we were at Southern National.
Andrew Cryer and Jonathan Bronson closing in, currently running in second and third. And you have to watch these two closely. They had bad blood as well last week at Oxford, and nothing like little short track tempers at bull rings like Oxford and now SNMP. What happened was in the final 5 laps, because it goes green to the end, no yellow came out obviously because of it, and Kendrick Cryer bumped Jonathan Bronson on the restart on the outside. Bronson went spinning, ended his chances of a win. And he's been trying to go for a win a lot this season. And speaking of Bronson, look at the brake rotors, over 1,000 degrees already lighting up. These guys go heavy on the brakes here at SNMP.
They certainly do, and his are really, really bright. As a couple guys check up right in front of him, he has to use a little extra brake. You can see it. Even once he's off the brake, there is not enough time for these brakes to cool off coming down the straightaway. So you're off of them mid-corner and back on them halfway down the straightaway, trying to get the car settled into the corner. It's hard on brakes, and it'll heat those front tires up, especially with the front brake and the front brake bias. It heats those tires up and it wears them a little bit more. That could come into play for anybody who does not have a long run setup ready for tonight.
Good battle for 4th position happening there. You see 3 of the dropping bombs racing cars in that picture going by the lap car of R. Hendren. It's Jordan Babinger and Mike Stoddard, allies in the snapmobile.shop machines, currently in a Duke for P4 as we speak. That 52 car I used to own, as we got one actually smoking on the track. Thought I saw some fluid come out from one of the drivers, but I'm not sure.
Not seeing anything at the moment, but we'll keep an eye out. I'm sure if somebody's having problems, we're going to know really rather quickly. And you mentioned Art Hendren getting lapped already. Art has had several bad races, a lot of bad luck, and just can't get any rhythm going. Hoping he can get something going here tonight. Not having a lot of luck yet, though, and hopefully he can get that turned around. The last few weeks been very, very rough, but you got to give him credit. He has not given up ever.
Battle for the lead starting to heat up with Kendrick Cryer and Austin Edwards. About a car length and a half separates the top two. Jonathan Bronson trying to close on in as well. Austin Edwards gets by Alex Gangler, but Cryer having a tough time even on the bottom.
Yeah, I've seen him a couple of times clip that apron, and that may be giving him some of that problem, but we talked to him before the race. He said he was going to have a different mindset tonight, be a little bit more patient. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe he's not giving it everything it has right now, but he said he's going to be fast here tonight. He's just going to be patient. We'll see what he does as he's in 3 wide right in front of the leaders.
Jeremy Lotto top shelf, Derek Colson in the middle. Your top 3, meanwhile, nose to tail. Edwards, Cryer, and Bronson. Your top 3, all being patient for right now, staying single file. They're just waiting for someone to make a mistake and bobble to the outside, and for the driver behind to try and open a hole up.
Yeah, a lot of guys just trying to be patient and stay out of the leader's way. It does not take long, 4/10 of a mile at the speeds they're going. It does not take long for if something goes wrong, it doesn't take long to cause problems for everybody back behind him. And at this point, the field is so stretched out all over the track that behind you is in front of you, and it is everywhere. There's going to be some chaos before the night is out. I guarantee it, especially with some of the stories forming, some of the battles out there, and some of the frustrations from previous weeks.
Chase Johnson able to get by. He's up to 5th position, trying to close in on Jordan Babinger for 4th. Now he's got a friend in front of him. That's a lap car. That's T-Cray. McRae in the number 99. See what he can do to try and possibly mess up Chase Johnson. Don't want to mess him up too early. Don't want to be extremely aggressive and make a lot of contact and intentionally slow him up. That would just be wrong of Tyler McRae. That's not his style. He just likes to be hard racing. And oh my goodness, you saw the hands from Jordan Babinger on the exit of turn 4. Got wicked loose, gassed it a little too early, and Johnson's trying to capitalize side by side for 4th.
Yeah, they are. Oh, the 48 is sideways.
His teammate too. Nice save from Babinger. Got a little bumper. McRae probably didn't mean to do that. That's helping out Stoddard. And Rondeletto look for 5th and 6th.
They are not giving an inch. We've still got we're not even 10% into this race, and these guys are racing like it's the last lap. They do this week in and week out, and it's usually the guys that have a little patience that make it the furthest and have the best finishes. But some of these guys we're used to seeing run up front, used to seeing some patience out of, not showing a whole lot here tonight.
Something interesting, by the way, I want to take note of. Kendrick Cryer just said on the Whale PD. Now I have access to Whale PD. He just said to Bronson, if you want to go by, let me know. You think Cryer possibly trying to save his stuff and play some checkers or play some chess over checkers?
Definitely, based on his comments before the race, his frustration last week, yeah, I guarantee you he's just going to play it safe, take it easy early on.
Half-second lead for Austin Edwards, but he is just in the deep end of lap traffic, working on Travis Sukup in the number 88. Battle for 7th as well, as Rondeletto and Stoddard were battling. They were going for a position for a moment. Take a look and see here if Trevor Birchmeyer is battling for position in 8th. Kenny Tripp behind him. Looking for our first side-by-side battle, but I think this battle for 5th position on track is the best battle with Babinger, Stoddard, and Rondeletto. Chase Johnson's pulled away from the 48 by about nearly a second over Babinger.
Well, here's another interesting note, and something we're going to have to watch is Aiden McConaughey and Luke Turpin are starting to work their way up through the field. Luke Turpin, I just lost him. He's picked up several positions since the drop of the green. He's picked up over 20 positions and making his way forward rather quickly. In the process, he is actually about to take a position there from Gerald Thanos Poole and continue his march towards the front after having to start all the way in the back. Aiden McConaughey picked up 19 spots so far. He's marching his way forward as well.
Up 21 spots is Turpin, Tyler Jalbert, Aiden McConaughey, each up 19. A driver I'm surprised that has not made a lot of moves right now is Jonathan Schwartz, currently in 29th and is a lap down. Didn't fulfill more mandatory minimum practice, was locked in via top 15, and currently in 29th spot. Not what he wants early on.
No, but I mean, let's be real. When it comes to Schwartz, how many times have we seen him way back early in the race? And at the end of the night, he is up there at the front. I fully expect to see him start making his way forward before too much longer. Probably after the first pit stop, we'll see him gaining a lot of positions.
Want to add as well, Bronson was able to get by Cryer a couple of laps ago for second. Let him go by as they're working on Thanos down the back straightaway. And let's see what happens here. In the way, and a little netcode bumper there by Bronson to Poole.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Gerald has been very fast this week. I've talked to him several times throughout the week, and he fully expected to get a really good finish out of that Tennefer Gen car, but we'll see if he can get it turned back around. he put in a ton of extra practice this week, and he said he definitely has a long run car in the cold, or once it goes dark and cools off. I suspect we'll see a few cars that are going backwards right now start coming forward later in the race. Another one making a lot of moves is Charlie Beals, who is now up to 11th and has been in the top 10 off and on the last few minutes, but not quite there right now.
Tell you what, another driver making moves, same up 7, is Octavio Rondeletto. Just got by Jordan Babinger about 2-3 laps ago for 5th position on the track and trying to close in on Chase Johnson. Now, when we were at this track during the preseason or last season, I should say, in 2020, Rondeletto didn't win this race, but he did manage to come home inside the top 5. So he could definitely be a contender for this win tonight. Rondeletto has not won since Thompson earlier on in the season, race number 3 in the year, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and he has had so many close calls with that win, that so many second places, so many in the last 5 laps, something goes wrong. Just every time he's up there running in the top, in a podium position, something goes wrong right when he is in position to take the win. So hopefully tonight he can get that done. He's had some frustration a couple weeks ago, and not the race he wanted last week, but still had a good finish. But definitely looking for that second win of the season.
We've got the battle for second brewing once again between Bronson and Cryer, about half a car length difference. They're getting swamped right now by Alex Krapser. Let's talk about Krapser while we are at it, because this is a little bit of a good storyline here outside of the JNS Racing camp. Krapser was a 2015 Legends and Street Stock runner-up finisher by 1 point. His return to XCAL competition tonight. For those wondering where Joe Campbell is, he is in the number 96 tonight.
And a
Krapser, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, there's a few driver swaps this week, and I know we had a couple of drivers that ended up pulling at the last minute. So a lot of changes and some different numbers here tonight, and some different people behind the wheels of different cars, just to make sure that some team cars actually make the event.
Just had one driver, I believe that was off the pace and way up top. That's Art Hendren, and Gerald Poole has gone to the pits.
That's a bit of a surprise. He could actually stretch his fuel mileage, so I'm not sure. It didn't see him having any problems, but there you have it. He's already on pit road and looks like he might be the first of the green flag pit stops here, and we'll see if it's a strategy move or a problem.
First jet disabled of the day. That belongs to Tyler McRae, but the battle for the lead. Jonathan Bronson all over the spoiler of Austin Edwards. They're up to Joe Campbell in the 96th. Nose to tail for the race lead with Cryer about 3 car lengths back.
Yep, Bronson and Cryer just been trying to track down Austin Edwards, and now they finally swapped places, and it looks like Bronson could get to Edwards a lot quicker. So here they come, but having all that lap traffic in front of them, as they're really coming through the middle of the pack now. I mean, there's a ton of cars that are a lap or more down at this point, and that lap traffic is going to be huge as the race goes on. It's going to come down to cooperation as they're 3 wide right in front of the leader.
And can you believe who Austin Edwards could possibly be lapping right now? Luke Turpin in the 454, who's in 19th.
That is a bit of a surprise, and I promise you, Turpin is not going to make it easy on the 66 behind him. He's going to try and maintain that lead lap and make sure he is in position to win. No. Well, maybe he dropped low on the straightaway, and it looks like they might have met in the middle, front bumper to rear bumper, in the middle of 3 and 4 there.
Bronson trying to diamond the corner, bumper nearly to Austin Edwards, getting close for the race lead. And now Edwards, I believe, will lap Turpin easily. Not yet, though. Turpin outbreaks Edwards in turns 3 and 4. Keep in mind, per XCAL rules, if you are going a lap down, you can race the leaders. But if you're at least 2 laps down, you cannot race the top 10 at all. Right now, Turpin doing everything he can to stay on the lead lap. If a caution were to come out right now, he would go. He would have the wave around as the free pass.
And speaking of cautions, I mean, we've had several incidents that did not draw a caution yet. These guys are doing a great job despite like the mess that the leaders are in right now. Despite all of that, everybody's managing to keep it straight. But later in the race, I do, as frustrations start to grow and tempers start to flare, I fully expect to see a little bit more aggression and a few more cautions as Jailbert now comes to pit lane. Stoddard came to pit lane. Several cars starting to do early green flag pit stops.
A lot of drivers on in. We'll get you the leader green flag pit stops in just a moment when we come back. Austin Edwards leads early here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Stay with us. Back here at Southern National Motorsports Park, and pit stops are happening. The leader, Austin Edwards, is in the pits, and nearly had a close call on his entrance to pit road. Got rear-ended from behind and almost got over 35 miles an hour, but maintained his speed. He's off of pit road, currently running in 21st position. Race leader is Chase Johnson for a lap. He's about to come in, according to Will Petey.
A bit of a surprise to see where the drivers I talked to earlier all said they could 70 to 80 laps. Some were saying 85 and more. Something I've noticed in recent weeks, a lot of these guys, a lot more teams are focusing on fuel mileage and being able to stretch and go further on a tank of gas. And a lot of these guys seem to have taken to that because we heard quite a few say 80 or more. So seeing people start coming in at lap 65, bit of a shock, but we'll see how it plays out here tonight. And I imagine as it cools off, it's everybody's gonna start stretching it just a little bit more.
Octavio Rondeletto about to give up the lead. He's entering pit road right now, 35 miles an hour, the pit speed here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Tyler Jalbert, by the way, had some quality issues, and he is disconnected due to incoming packet loss. So Trevor Birchmeyer now assuming the race lead. Nice story from Birchmeyer's camp. Actually got inside the top 5 of Tyler McRae's Snap Mobile Shop Power Rankings earlier this Friday. We actually have a spin, by the way. Sean Patrick in the 22 around. And obviously with him being on the apron, that won't bring a caution out.
Let's see what happened here. It looks like he was trying to get to pit road and got a tap from Chase Johnson. He got a tap from Chase Johnson that put him into the barrier at the pit road entry, and that's how he ended up spinning. But Chase Johnson came up. I couldn't tell who the other car was.
Oh my goodness.
Chase Johnson came up and tapped another car as he was getting corrected, and that caused some damage to both of their cars as well. So several different stories starting to develop here.
And that could end his chances at a top 10 run. John Frawley now currently your race leader. Now something else you got to keep in mind here when we have pit stops at SNMP is pit road here. Just like Bristol, there are 2 pit roads, one on the front straightaway, one on the back straightaway. Now, I'm not sure, I can't recall how they do it under the yellow flag. Is it similar to Bristol, Doug?
It is. They take both pit roads at separately. They do not have to drive through both of them. They can come straight off under both caution and green, so that there's not, because these pit roads are a little bit tighter than they are at Bristol, so you only have to drive down your pit road, which makes things a little bit easier, but can cause some issues because you have one pit road exit where the other pit road entrance is.
Everyone has come in for a stop so far. Probably the biggest winner in all of this was Luke Turpin, up to 6th position right now. And I believe, I want to say, he's on the lead lap, and he is, I think. But Austin Edwards reassumes the race lead as we have completed the cycle of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, Luke is on the lead lap, but just
right in front of the leader! Holy moly, how did he miss that?
And let's see what happened here. It happened with John Friley, who got his lap led, was trying to get up off of pit road, came up off that berm and spun to the right, and just a ton of cars, the 22, the 20, I can't tell who all got caught in that, but you've got a half dozen cars at least that got caught and will have heavy, heavy damage.
Both the Gas and Go cars of Blake Wynn and Alex Gingler. Derek Colson is involved. I think I saw Jordan Babinger just miss it. Austin Edwards, great piece of driving by him. And I think Jonathan Bronson got caught up in it too. Jeff Edgar, Logan Jones, that's like 2 of the 3 Twisted Chassis machines. Jonathan Bronson just got a piece of it from 2nd spot. Dorsal got involved. It was just a parking lot down the back straightaway.
Yeah, it was taking up both lanes of the track, and a lot of guys coming to pit road right now to get minimal repairs and see if they can get back out there and pick up some of what was lost. But a lot of guys on pit road and a lot of cars with significant damage, trying to look through the field and just see how many cars. There was, like I said, at least a half a dozen cars that took heavy, heavy hits as they were trying to get evasive on the back straightaway. Huge shout out to those guys that managed to keep those cars going the right way, because there was just nowhere to go there briefly on the front track, and Gregorio, heavy damage to the nose. Looking to see who else around him got some. Obviously, Bronson got fairly light damage, all things considered. Looking to see.
So we've got. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
I'm just looking through the field real quick, trying to see who's come back out, who we can see that might still have some damage. A ton of cars on pit road now.
Absolutely. So we got a penalty recap for you. John Friley gets the black flag. Riley Duncan, Tyler Batchelder, and Kenny Tripp get waved around the pace car. So this is going to be an interesting restart here after a long run. First yellow of the day just before lap 90. While we are at it, let's take a moment and thank one of our sponsors of XCAL Racing. That is Butt Kicker, known for their transducers, including the Gamer 2, that adds instant immersion to any game. Unlike a subwoofer that moves air, Butt Kicker products move actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Blake Wynn has a Gamer 2 unit from the All-Star race, and he loves it. Additional devices will be awarded throughout the year to the championship-winning car owner and 2 special events. Use code XCAL20, all one word, to save 20% now through the end of the year at www.thebuttkicker.com. And yes, you can check our website too at xcalracing.com. So we have a lot of drivers that are in pit road right now. That was the big one. At least a dozen drivers were involved.
And yeah, there's some names on this list. Looks like Aiden McConaughey's on pit road, Bowen Smith, Gangler, Jeff Edgar, obviously John Friley, Jose Godino is on pit road, Chase Johnson is on pit road. All these guys having to get repairs. Some of these guys were extremely fast and definitely going to hurt them in the long run for the race, as it looks like the pace car is turning off.
Hendrik Cryer fires first. He's the leader. Octavio Rondeletto second. We are back to green. Something else I should tell you as well. Keep in mind with Big John Frawley. He's currently the final car inside the top 15. was up by 13 points over Steven Rex coming in. And Steven Rex at number 28 is running in 17th. So big opportunity as we are side by side for the lead. Here's Ron Deletto on the top shelf.
And not surprised to see Rondeletto up here battling for the lead early. Hopefully he can get up there, and if it's like anything like the last race, he might be able to put a bunch more cars a lap down as the night goes on. Hopefully he can get up there and finally get that second win of the season. He's had so many close calls, but he's going backwards just a little bit as here comes Austin Edwards now back to the inside.
And that's because you do not want to work the high side for the race lead. Rondeletto tried it. Can sometimes work on a restart. Does not work, though, on after that. Here's Austin Edwards taking away second from Rondeletto. And we got a car spun on the line. That's Blake Wynn in the 81 and 21st. Bunch of damage. And we got junk. Art Hendren involved in the 21. Sean Andrews, Patrick Sullivan, Jeremy Leto. Yellow lights are on.
I was trying to see where Blake Wynn's wrecked, but let's take a quick look and see what happened with Hendren because the 21 just got extremely loose. The 4 got to him. It looks like the 78 got caught as well, and then several more cars. Jeremy Leto caught again in the 17 as well. A lot of cars involved. Let's see if that started with Blake Wynn's incident.
It did. Got into Batchelder, and then there was an accordion effect that took him around, and same with Batchelder.
Yep, and they both stopped on the front straightaway. They were in, and Blake Wynn actually tried to reverse, and I don't know, he was trying to get turned around before the leaders got to him, but by the time the pack came back around, he was in the middle of the track, and that did not leave a lot of good options for folks, and chaos ensues. So the old saying, cautions breed cautions, here we are.
Art Hendren then also came down to Alex Krapser, and then the 78 car on 2 wheels, and then you see Jeremy Leto, Pat Sullivan trying to miss it. Oh my goodness, Andrews just clobbered in there with ARCA brakes, and then Leto with nowhere to go.
Yeah, there was a lot of chaos there late in the I mean, this thing, you got to think, this thing started almost a half a lap in front of the leaders. Then they come around as these cars are trying to recover, but the cars recovering caused more chaos, and it continued from the middle of the front stretch all the way to the exit of turn 2, just cars going everywhere. And I would imagine that after this, we might see 1 or 2 cars out of this, out of the battle here, as apparently Steven Rex also involved in that. And you were talking about him just before the caution came out.
And we have the word that Art Hendren has received the black flag. Interesting they wouldn't call it on Blake Wynn, but I can understand that at the same time. Couple of waves coming right now. Luke Turpin, Charlie Beals, and Jonathan Schwartz, or excuse me, not Schwartz, Mike Stoddard waved around the pace car.
Looks like we're gonna have. I might be doing my math wrong here. It looks like we're gonna have about 14 cars on the lead lap.
My goodness, that's interesting. So yeah, Turpin, Beals, and Stoddard get the waves. Now, keep in mind this too, Doug. I wasn't in here for heats, but people were telling me that they were awful, and that was said as well in the drivers' meeting too.
Just doing some quick math here while you're talking. Yeah, it was rough last time we were here, but obviously tonight is the heats were rough, and now here we are with a bit of a difficult race. By my count, there are still 13 cars on the lead lap. All of them have been lapped at least once, and now we're down to about a 30-car field at the moment, and things are going to get a little bit more hectic with those that are still left, trying to pick up, get a lap back, trying to do everything they can to get some points here while these other guys are on pit road. And I'd imagine, like we've seen in the past, a lot of guys are going to come back out after they get significant repairs. They'll come back out just for points.
Let's set the field for you. Kendrick Cryer, Austin Edwards, row 1. Riley Duncan, Clinus LaBeouf, row 2. And Jonathan Bronson rounds out the top 5 as we go back to green.
off into turn one, and a huge shout out to Klinus. I believe this is only like his second or third race with XCAL, and we've been talking about him in all of them because he gets up there and gets it done.
His first return to XCAL since I became a senior admin. How about Austin Edwards still trying to fight on the outside with Kendrick Cryer for the race lead? They have been side by side, nearly coming for 2 laps. And how about Riley Duncan off turn 4, right in third. First time he's in the top 5 today. Edwards led at the line, by the way.
And there is a lot of smoke all over the track right now. I'm seeing alerts that there's been a couple of different issues involving a couple different cars who are trying to get back up off pit road just to pick up some positions and points. Fortunately, everybody's kept it clear, but yeah, things are starting to get really, really busy up at the front and as people trying to get out there just for points.
Daniel Miller, Charlie Beals, Travis Sukup reporting that he had crashed. How about Austin Edwards trying to keep the top side going? Do you think he may have adjusted his setup during pit stops to possibly get that high side going? Because he's doing one heck of a job, and he just cleared Cryer for the lead.
I am not the least bit surprised. Austin Edwards seems to always have a setup that is fast on the high side. He's one of those guys that I think sets up for... We've got a spin out of turn 4. Everybody keeps going the right way. Can't quite tell who that is yet, but...
Gates Johnson and Charlie Beals that went around at the start-finish line, no yellow.
And they managed to get it straightened out before the leaders, or just as the leaders get there. Awesome job by the leaders threading the needle there as Austin Edwards, wow, he continues to be right where the action is and avoid all of it. How long can his luck run? I mean, with that setup being able to run high, he could probably keep it going for a while, but I hope he can make it through the night.
Side by side for 4th position, Jonathan Bronson inside on Klinus LaBeouf. Bronson, I believe, has 2 fresher tires than Klinus because Bronson last pitted on lap 88, LaBeouf on 71 during the green flag cycle. And Bronson is up to 4th. Rondeletto is closing in. He's in 5th, and he just pitted under the last yellow.
Yeah, not surprised. Rondeletto saw how many cars were on there. Oh, we've got a car on his side on the back straightaway.
Oh, Sean Andrews in the 23, side over side he goes. I got to see what happened there.
All right, so Sean coming down, he comes out of 1, or comes down the front straightaway, comes out of 2 and loses it coming up off 2, and he gets up onto that berm going the wrong way, and that just sends him around.
That was pretty crazy there. Battle for 4th heating up between Bronson and Rondeletto. And did we have another driver scrape the wall? I got nothing on my end that says it, but that's their best battle on the track for P4. Rondeletto on 2 fresher tires than Jonathan Bronson by about 13 laps.
Yeah, Rondeletto, he is always watching who's on the lead lap, who's where, and if he has the chance to get a stop in without losing too many positions, especially if it's cars he knows he can beat, he's already passed, he's going to take it. It's paid off more than once this season. So Rondeletto, definitely the one of the better strategists out here, as he is now sticking the nose down there. Oh,
nearly put the bumper on Bronson. That got a little bit close. Now, Bronson, by the way, as you can see, he's got some left side fender damage. Rondeletto's car looks clean. I think Bronson, he was involved in that first yellow. Keep that in mind. So that could be some aero speed he is losing. Last time around, its last lap time was a 15:33. Rondeletto 15:41, but Rondo just being patient.
Yeah, Rondeletto is one that we talk about quite often. His big trick is sitting on somebody's back bumper, looking to their inside, and making them nervous. He's really, really good at making people nervous and makes them make the mistake, and then he is always in the right place to capitalize, as they've got a lap car in the preferred line as they come around, and that's going to be a problem for the remainder of the night, I'd imagine, with as they continue to lap cars. Now we're down to, I believe, 10 cars on the lead lap.
Taking a look here, I think I've got actually, you're close though, it's 11, Tyler Batchelder, and it's about to become 10 here as Edwards is inside on the Bachelor, and Edwards now has 10 drivers on the lead lap. including himself. Greg Hole's the last car on the lead lap. Let's talk about an interesting story, by the way, while we were at it. Oh, wait, hang on. We got smoke in 4 in front of the leader. I'm trying to see who that was. I don't have a report, though.
Birchmere hit pit road there, and I'm thinking that might have
it.
been him locking up tires.
Probably it. So, story I was talking about earlier. For the first time ever in XCAL competition, we have a father-son pair racing against each other tonight. Jeff Edgar in the, I'm trying to find him here, in the number 05, currently in 27th, racing with the number 98, his son, Brett Edgar. Brett currently in 20th. So I'm kind of curious if those two have a bet right now. Whoever beats who, what does the loser have to do?
That could definitely be interesting between them. We'll have to ask them if we get the chance to. I know several father-son teams that I race with in other places that they have a lot of friendly competitions. Anytime you get two family members racing against each other, that is always going to come into play.
Definitely. So right now we are seeing a lot of alternating strategy. Guys like Kendrick Cryer, Riley Duncan, they last pitted on lap 70. So we could see them come in about 8 to 10 laps from now. And you got a guy like Austin Edwards who's leading. Last pitted on lap 88, so he should be good to go until about lap 150 or so. And then Octavio Rondeletto and Jordan Babinger. And they're not even halfway through this current stint they're on right now, or just barely, I should say, currently running in 4th and 6th. So we'll be seeing a lot of drivers on pit road from time to time tonight as, yeah, it's just be, oh, Batchelder just took Bronson out! They made contact on the front straightaway, traded some paint. Batchelder didn't like the way he was being raced and just dumped Bronson. Now he's got front bumper damage, and now they're piling out Brett Edgar around. Yellow lights are on.
Let's see if we can see where this one started with Bronson. As they bump going down off into 1 and 2. And then there's the bump that turns Bronson around coming off turn 2. And
you know he's going to be frustrated at that.
Yeah, everybody tries to get low. It looks like a couple people nicked him, and as they were checking up coming out of turn 2, several guys checked up, and several did not get word about the incident that was happening, and obviously just kind of drove through the people trying to stop in front of them.
Bowen Smith got into Brett Edgar, and then Alex Gingler piled in. We have Greg Holes and Gerald Poole involved too, as they were just trying to miss it, I believe. But again, in front of Austin Edwards and Bronson, you know he's going to be furious. Drivers are in pit road. We are going to step aside and take our second break of the night. Stay with us here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Welcome back to SNMP. Tyler Batchelder gets the black flag. Waves go to Kleinitz, LaBeouf, and John Schwartz. There was a warning that came out from PDJ Zeller. I think it may have been something related to either netcode or just hard racing simply. But anyway, we got 2 waves for you, Clinus LaBeouf and John Schwartz. The newest sponsor of XCAL, More Polish Pottery, Midwest Gift Shop and Distribution Center for Polish Pottery Stoneware. Guests can shop our vast selection of Polish pottery, the largest in the Midwest and in Illinois. Quality One Polish Pottery Stoneware is sold at the retail warehouse style store. Made in Bolesławiec, Poland. I think that's how you pronounce it. Whether you're beginning to or adding to your pottery collection, More Polish Pottery strives to find the next great addition from thousands of pieces available. Visit them at their regular hours at 8953 Jericho Road in Big Rock, Illinois. Online at morepolishpottery.com. 10 years and running. Doug?
Yep, just getting everybody lined up and ready to go here. A lot of chaos. I will mention, prior to that caution flag, Clinus LaBeouf had not pitted. I had to double check the stats on it, but he had not pitted until now. He finally has come to pit road. He'd been out there over 120 laps, and I'm not sure how he pulled that off, and it was as fast as he was, but I double checked all the data, and he did not pit until this caution.
Interesting there. So we should be good to go back to green.
It looks like
1 to go with the stripe, and Greg Holz, your race leader in the 19, making Matt Bear proud. Now, he stayed out. He hasn't pitted since lap 102, so possibly hoping for another yellow to come out. That way he can pit and reset. So it's Holz and Rondeletto, row 1, Babinger Tripp, row 2, then Austin Edwards in 5th, Luke Turpin in 6th, Clinus LaBeouf 7th, John Schwartz 8th, Kendrick Cryer 9th, Riley Duncan is 10th.
And you
Top 3, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, you mentioned the glitch in the netcode issue. I will say we did see a lot of netcode here last time at this track. Every time we're at this track, it seems to be one of the glitchier tracks. It has more issues. As you see, a power move for the second place position, so that could come into play as the night goes on.
Again, Greg Holz is on worn tires, still running in 3rd position. Babinger gets by, but Rondeletto is checked out. Already a 1-second lead over Jordan Babinger.
It does not take Rondeletto long in clean air. Now he's got to get up here and lap as many cars and put as many cars between him and Babinger as he can. He continues to run away from Babinger. However, the fastest lap last time was Austin Edwards. In fact, that's the fastest lap of the race, just driven by Austin Edwards.
15.3 second lap time. Just absolutely amazing what Austin Edwards can do driving this machine. We can tell you Jonathan Bronson, after that accident, got back on track, currently running in 12th spot, but right now at least 3 laps down for right now.
And it's interesting with when you talk about Austin Edwards and how fast his last lap was. We're going to hop in his car for a minute because he did that fastest lap of the race in this traffic. I mean, looking at him as he comes down the front straightaway down to the inside, he was doing those fast laps, fighting his way through traffic. He's going faster than Rondeletto right now, and Rondeletto's got clean air, and he did a lap of this 0.4 of a mile track in just 15.3 seconds. So, huge shout out, like you said. Austin Edwards does some amazing stuff with a race car.
So I'll tell you this, actually, we don't really have any big battles on track as we speak, or close battles. So, oh wait, hang on. Rondeletto got loose, or excuse me, that was Dorso. Him and Colson made contact. That's accordion up the field, and we're about to have a battle for 4th take place. Austin Edwards is up to Kenny Tripp, took advantage of it.
Yep, both of these guys are two that we talk about week in and week out battling, and they're going to be back together doing it again here in just a moment. Things could get very, very interesting. And another note we need to mention, we have only heard of one chat mute so far tonight. I'm surprised it's only been one given how many chat mutes went out last week, and only one thus far.
Edwards takes 4th away for Tripp. There's actually 2 chat mutes now. Last caution flag, Chase Johnson had his chat disabled.
Well, there you have it. As the night, as the sun goes down, the tempers go up, and the chat mutes get handed out more regularly. Last week, I believe the total was 8. We'll see how many it is tonight.
Checking to see if we got any other good battles that are happening on the track. Guess you could say that we got another good battle brewing, but I think it's like a car or two separating Clinus LaBeouf from Luke Turpin. Turpin in 6th, LaBeouf in 7th.
And LaBeouf, like we said, he went to pit road last time, so he is on fresh tires and a full tank of fuel. And he made all those caution laps really work for him. I don't know how he is this fast and saving that much fuel. I believe it was like 117 laps. Oh, there's smoke coming out of turn 4. We'll have to see if we can figure out what just happened as Clinus drove through some smoke there.
I believe somebody got loose and not sure who it came from. And a change for 5th, by the way. Turpin underneath Tripp. They're side by side.
Off into turn 1, Turpin and Tripp. Oh, we've got a spin!
That's one of the iRacing cars. Is that Dorso? It is. Yellow's out.
Good call by the admins, throwing the caution early on that one, as we've seen a lot of stack up when something like this. Oh!
Just came down to Bronson. Not sure what that was about.
It looked like Bronson was squirrely on the front straightaway, and then Emilio just came down a little bit. I don't know that it was intentional, but it was some extremely close racing that probably could have been a whole heck of a lot worse there.
I think this is going on Dorso. You know, he came down. I will give credit, though, to Gregorio for nice car control and doing like a nice little J-turn, whatever they call it, in parking school. Because if he rapidly wheeled that thing, he was going upside down.
Yeah, and this track is you're always on the edge of being loose here. HTSAI, we have free setups. I was building the super late model setup here today, and loose is something you're always fighting at this track, no matter what car you're in. These cars, they don't have the most power, but they're extremely heavy. They've got big tires, and they still slip and slide and get loose. So, great job by everybody who saved it.
A lot of drivers in pit road. I'm currently watching Luke Turpin on his exit. Sim Racing Esports meets crypto and blockchain technology. Earn Sim Racer coins. Buy setups. They are ruling a netcode incident, by the way. Just a heads up. Give you the moments on that in a little bit. Buy setups, paints, coaching, or join realistic leagues. Learn more at simracercoin.org. Sim Racer Coin. Racing is life. So, again, netcode incident between Gregorio Emiliano Dorso and Jonathan Bronson. The waves go to Kendrick Cryer, Riley Duncan, and Greg Holes.
And yeah, like we said earlier, not a surprise. I think this will be a track that iRacing will be working on updates on. It tends to have a lot of netcode and just some graphical issues, a few other little things. I mean, iRacing does an amazing job, obviously, but every once in a while you find a track or a car or something that is just a little on the glitchy side, and I'd imagine that they will be looking at it and getting it fixed before too much longer.
So your top two stayed out. That's Clinus LaBeouf and Jordan Babinger. A lot of drivers pitted on that last stint. If I were to guess, this would put them at about a 2-stop race to the end. But it would be close. So we're going to reset the field here for you, as this should be 1 to green. We've got Jordan Babinger, the leader, with Clinus LaBeouf in second. Octavio Rondeletto and Austin Edwards will restart in row 2. Kenny Tripp restarts in row 3 on the inside. Then on the waves, Kendrick Cryer, Riley Duncan, Greg Holes starting from the tail due to their waves. And then you've got Luke Turpin in 9th, Jonathan Schwartz rounding out the top 10. Biggest mover in the race is Turpin. up 33. Not eligible, though, for the Hard Charger Award. Currently, it is a tie between Riley Duncan and Jonathan Schwartz, each up 28. Fastest lap of the race, I have a 15.3 still to Austin Edwards.
Yeah, that was a crazy fast lap, considering he was coming through traffic doing it, and Octavio still 400ths off in clean air. As the pace car drops off, green flag is in the air.
Davinger fires, back underway. Him, LaBeouf, side by side. Can Kleinis get something going on the top side? Doesn't really, but Babinger loose on the extra 2. Rondeletto doesn't take advantage of it. Still, LaBeouf all the way up top and loses second to Rondeletto at the line. Now the opening for Octavio down to the bottom.
Somebody spun in 1 and 2.
Harold Poole, Thanos. Thanos just snapped himself out of a race.
I think so. He was actually starting to pick up a lot of positions there, too. He had made his way back up into the top 15, was up in 13th prior to the caution and having a really good race. He had some help. He had a lot of help from behind on that move, but hopefully he'll be able to get back up there. And great job by him staying low and staying out of trouble. But Thanos got a rough night ahead.
Got a warning issued from race control. I'm going to listen to this real quick.
Meanwhile,
warning coming. Hang on. Sukup gets a warning for changing lanes on the restart. Travis Sukup, by the way, currently running in the 32nd position. Yellow's out, and it's for Jeremy Leto. Was running in 22nd at the line, and the front straightaway again is Calamity Alley, and we've got a mess. Oh my goodness, what a mess in 1.
Yep. All right, let's see what happens. As Leto is running the middle line through 3 and 4, comes out and just loses it. Taps a couple of cars, several cars end up spinning. Leto is on the inside facing the wrong way, gets the car corrected, but the chaos after, in fact, Travis Sukup involved in the chaos after.
Hendren simply just got loose unless... Yeah, they're going to give this on Hendren. He's going to get disqualified because he already had a strike previously. Gets in the Leto, and there's also Tyler Batchelder, Sean Patrick, and just an absolute cluster. Logan Jones, then they're still stacking up with Joe Campbell and Sean Andrews, Jose Gaudino. Holy moly. That was your first DQ of the night. Yeah.
That was the second big one, we might add, but it really hurt a lot of guys back there, and Art Hendren again, just no luck the last few weeks.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break here for our halftime break. Stay with us.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back. Getting ready to go back to the green flag. And we're just waiting to go back to green. We are still extending. Should be our final extension here. While we are waiting, Try E Inc. builds walk-in coolers and freezers for grocery stores and big box stores in the southeastern U.S., covering a geographical area from Florida, Texas to Virginia. An excellent source for installation, repair, and maintenance. Contact them at tryeinc@gmail.com.
Interesting that we saw a lot of this kind of stuff the last race here, and it's interesting that we're at about the halfway point, and these guys are starting to get a little feisty out there, seeing a lot more aggression, a lot more craziness, and the lights are coming on and the sun's going down.
Absolutely, and we're still having some issues figuring out where we're supposed to be. This is our 5th extension currently, and this should be our last.
Who's on first?
What's on second?
I wondered if you were old enough to know that one.
This is what happens when we get bored. Next week, XCAL Racing at the Legacy Phoenix Raceway. Should be a fun one to watch. Wide, short track around that 1 mile oval. And lights are off, but they're coming back on once again.
You might add that is the correct version of Phoenix. The Legacy version is. That current version with the cut through the dog leg is just dumb.
So...
And we've got a lot of cars. I see what's going on here. Okay, timing and scoring got wonky, and it does that on short tracks. The further you get in with this many cars laps down, and they're trying to get everybody per the rules back where they belong. We saw this same thing last time because at one point in the last race here, there was one car on the lead lap on a restart. And then due to circumstances, that car actually, the leader started in the middle of the pack, and a lot of craziness ensued. But yeah, that's the reason for the extension. The timing and scoring just gets a little wonky in these situations.
we may have to... We're going green this time by, so this restart is at the halfway point, which means it's time to talk about Higgins, the XCAL Spotter Pack. Over 500 messages of Higgins that can be used in any iRacing event, and it's available now. To order your copy, send $20 to president@xcalracing.com with note #Where's Higgins. The Spotter Pack is rated R and everything the title implies. Rondeletto brings them back to green. Here we go. They stack up in row 2 back.
Austin Edwards on the high side. We saw him fighting really, really well up on the high side last time. We'll see if he can make it work again. As meanwhile, on the back straightaway, it looks like there's a couple cars that went 3 wide, and a couple guys ended up in the wall while these two continue to battle for the lead.
Side by side for the lead, side by side for third. Duncan and LaBeouf in row number 2. Babinger is 5th, hole 6, Turpin 7th, Trip 8th, and Rondeletto clears Edwards for the lead.
And Rondeletto off into 1. We'll see if he can open up that big lead again here. I doubt he's going to open it up on Edwards, but the two of them might be able to run away from Riley Duncan as he's fighting with Kleinis there. And everybody mid-pack in the middle of the back straightaway, they were 3 wide and slow. It looks like Derek Colson was involved in an incident. We'll see what happened.
That is in turn 3, out of the leader's way, waiting for traffic to go on by.
And
let's watch that. Yeah, go ahead.
Colson just got a little bit of a tap and spun up. That checked up a lot of cars behind him. He was the only car involved, and fortunately held the car low and stayed out of the way. So fortunately, they will stay green this time.
Another thing you got to keep in mind is with Duncan and LaBeouf, they are just about 60 laps into this pit stint right now. They last pitted on lap 136 and 137th for LaBeouf and Duncan respectively. So they're coming pretty close to having to come in. I think they're just hoping for one more yellow with the way this race has been going, and then they can hopefully stay on that lead lap.
I imagine Duncan is. I don't know about LaBeouf. I am really confused about his fuel mileage because
Same.
He went so many laps, and I double and triple checked it. He never came to pit road, and he stayed out there forever and a day. So truly impressed by that. The only thing I can figure is he's running some weird gearing setup that's allowing him to stretch that mileage.
Possibly. Jordan Babinger is running in 5th position, who Last but no, we got one smoking, and the yellow is out. Baminger almost gets involved. It's for Colson and Andrews, and I think that's what you want if you're LaBeouf.
It's gonna have, it probably is, as it looks like Leto is inside of Andrews as they come through 3 and 4. Leto drifts up and I don't think Leto actually touched him. I think that was a netcode spin.
Let's look from the aerial shot.
Let's see.
That will give you the not even a touch there. Absolutely spot on the netcode call.
Yeah, there's easily a foot between them at that point on the track as we get the views from the chopper.
Yep, PDJ Zeller just said that is true netcode.
Yeah, that I'm going to be doing the race at Southern National in the Super Late models tomorrow, and I'm learning a lot here about what not to do. So, you know, obviously this track heavy with netcode, heavy with glitches, and yeah, if you're gonna be out there, you got to be careful. And did LaBeouf come to pit road?
And looking, yes, he did. 197. So LaBeouf just came in. I'm guessing for 2 tires and a full tank of fuel.
And I think the data on LaBeouf might actually be off. It's not showing when he comes to pit road because it didn't show him as coming to pit road that time. But he did, in fact, come. So there you have it. He has come to pit road, and that definitely worked out for him and Duncan. Really worked out for Riley Duncan as he's now being scored in the lead.
But surprisingly, he hasn't pitted since lap 137.
All sorts of crazy strategies out here, and he's got one of the highest I ratings out there, so you know he's got to be he's got to have something up his sleeve as well.
Lap 200 brought to you by K2 Sauce, the only official sauce of XCAL Racing. It's an everything sauce, a barbecue sauce, steak sauce, ketchup, and more all in one. The only sauce you'll ever need, also available in hot.
Had some K2 sauce on my chicken sandwich earlier today.
It was very... Oh, I love K2 sauce.
I still haven't opened the spicy bottle yet, but I'm afraid one of the kids will just take it and steal it from me because they like spicy stuff too. But yeah, that the regular, love it.
So we should be getting back to green this time by Duncan Babinger row 1, Turpin Tripp row 2, Edwards and Rondeletto in row 3, Klinus LaBeouf in 7th. The waves go to Holes, Rondeletto, and LaBeouf as we're back to green.
And look who is in 9th. Talked about him early. He was in 30-something early in the race. And I said we won't talk about him till the second half, and then there he'll be, and Schwartz is in the top 10 again. But meanwhile, Riley Duncan leading for the first time tonight under green, and he has got the first 5-6 cars single file now.
Kenny Tripp stuck on the top side, running in 5th position. Logan Jones closing in, not for a spot though. His next opponent behind is Octavio Rondeletto, just about 4 seconds back. Turpin just blinked for a moment and is battling with Edwards for 3rd.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, part of the scoring, the way this track is set up, everything else, you've got situations where Kenny Tripp in 5th is up there with the lead pack. Octavio Rondeletto in 6th is 4 seconds back, mired in a bunch of lap traffic just due to the way everything falls, and that does happen with this short track racing. That's what we saw last time, and that's how we ended up with one car on the lead lap for a very short time. So don't be surprised to see, with only 8 cars on the lead lap, don't be surprised to see that number dwindle even further and then suddenly grow back.
This, the pass that Edwards made on Luke Turpin, I think Turpin's saying, because, you know, he just blinking there for a moment, said, you know what, I'm going to let you go by. Better safe than sorry, and it's actually helped Edwards a little bit try and close in on Babinger.
Yeah, Turpin's been racing really, really smart the last few weeks, and it's definitely been paying off. It's definitely been showing. He is, earlier in the season, he was hit and miss. He'd be in the top one race and in the back the next. He's been a lot more consistent. He's definitely got the speed and the skill to get it done. He just needed some consistency, and it looks like he has finally found it. Meanwhile,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I was going to say, meanwhile, Octavio Rondoletto is starting to work through this lap traffic fairly quickly.
Absolutely, trying to get by the number 4 of Krebser. Krebser in the 12th position, but a battle for the lead. Heading up, 3 cars under a blanket. Duncan, Babinger, and Edwards. It's the Canadian leading them.
And you got to wonder, how long is Duncan going to try and fight these two guys off? Both of these guys are up high in the points, and as we got to move for second, Austin Edwards gets by Babinger fairly easily. I think Babinger moved over and let him by.
Great pass by Austin Edwards in the number 66. 213 laps are complete. Just about 150 laps to go. It's Riley Duncan that leads at SNMP. We'll take another break. Stay with us here on How to Suck at iRacing. For the lead, Austin Edwards inside on Riley Duncan. We welcome you back to Southern National Motorsports Park. And Austin Edwards on fresher tires goes to the point.
Babinger not very far behind either. And how long is Riley Duncan going to be able to hold these two guys off as we've got smoke coming off of turn 4? Everybody seems to keep it going the right way, but a lot has transpired in the last few minutes. And a big checkup on the back straightaway.
Riley Duncan coming into pit road, so went a little bit long there on that fuel run, so he will forfeit a top 3 spot. We had a warning issued, by the way. I'm not sure who it went on, but a little bit interesting situation.
And Joe Campbell, during the commercial break, seems to have possibly blown an engine. We're waiting on an update there, but he went off track quite suddenly, so we'll have to find out what happened there.
A lot of drivers are talking, and I believe someone is lagging really badly. I think it's Blake Wynn in the 81. Yes, it is. He's been black flagged for poor quality. It's currently at 74%, and that's definitely not what you want. Blake Wynn being told to fix it. As soon as his connection is stabilized, he can re-enter the track. If not, he'll have to be DQ'd.
And you know, one of those previous restarts, we saw Gerald Poole get turned around, only his second start in XCAL, and there he is. My buddy's up to 13th now. I know he's got a fast car, so we'll see if he can get back up there. But huge shout out to Luke Turpin. After starting at the back of the field, now up to 3rd. As you mentioned, he had to start back there due to rules, and he is not going to get the hard charger award, but man, he has came through the field extremely quickly, extremely smoothly, and that car is really, really clean.
Absolutely. So why don't we take you through the field here and talk about some of the leaders right now and other drivers we have. First off, let's talk about Austin Edwards, fastest lap of the race so far, 15.3 second lap time, coming off a win last week. It has been very smooth in this race so far tonight. It's been pretty lucky as well. How about Babinger in second, Doug?
Yeah, he has been extremely fast. He is actually not that far off of the times of Austin Edwards right now, and he has made his way back and forth all night, kind of up and down, been outside the top 10, now back to second.
Octavio Rondoletto has been a little bit lucky tonight as well, currently running in the 3rd position as we got smoke off of turn 2 for Gerald Poole in the 131. If it's yellow, we'll get to it. Rondoletto, though, keep in mind, a key driver to watch out for. Only 1 win this season. Could possibly be the night for win number 2. We'll have to see, but there's 1 driver he may have to deal with shortly.
Luke Turpin starting in the back of the field due to issues during his heats. He is now up here into 4th, picked up 38 positions so far. Not the fastest lap out there by any stretch tonight, but definitely the most consistent, the smartest, and has made his way up extremely quickly.
Kenny Tripp currently running in position number 5. He's been quiet so far tonight. But having a really constant top 10 run in this race. Last period on lap 178. Nice run for the driver they call the Helmet, and he is looking for his first win of the season. If you like underdogs, here's Doug.
Linus LaBeouf on his return, just a couple races into his return to XCAL, and he is definitely showing he can get the job done. He's been in the top 5 every single race. He's still hanging on. He's still rolling that XCAL throwback scheme, and it seems to be very, very lucky here lately as he gets past Kenny Tripp and now up to 5th.
We've got a car spun, by the way, on the start-finish line. Logan Jones, he has not had a good night at all. Currently running in the 22nd position. Let's continue on with who we're talking about. Greg Holtz filling in that number 19 for Matt Bear, as Bear had other commitments. The 61 was withdrawn. And a good run, that is usual for the number 19. Running in P7, started in 15th. Has been quiet as well outside the top 10, but right now having a great run. How about JB Smooth in 8th?
Jonathan Schwartz, you never talk about him in the first half. You always talk about him in the second half. Started in 38th, now up to 8th place, making his way through the field. He was a lap or more down early on as he worked his way through the field. Now, last car on the lead lap, it looks like, and he is continuing his forward march.
So Austin Edwards has a 3-second lead over Jordan Babinger. I'm trying to see if we've got a really good battle on track, and we do. For 4th, Linus LaBeouf on fresh tires. 30-lap fresher tires, and Luke Turpin. Turpin says, you know what, just go by me. You're really fast right now. What a night for Linus so far.
He had the throwback scheme a couple of weeks ago for the throwback race. It seemed to work really well for him, and he is sticking with it, running that XCAL throwback, and it is definitely paying off as the lights go down, or as the sun goes down and the lights come on. He's getting faster and faster and faster. Started back in 16th and now up to 4th, and after he gets through this lap traffic, he's probably going to pick up 1 or 2 more.
Good racing happening for 9th position, by the way. Mike Stoddard and Riley Duncan. Alex Krebser behind those drivers too. Keep in mind, I think this is for a wave around spot too, and this is right in front of your leader.
That could get very, very interesting. Those guys are battling for every position. They're battling to try and stay in that position to get a lap back, and all of them are doing a great job holding a great line, but now the leader's there, and he's going to be getting a little bit impatient with this before too much longer. It's going to allow Babinger to close back up, Rondoletto to close back up if he can't find a way around it very, very quickly.
Mike Stoddard, Riley Duncan again, side by side for 9th, right in front of your race leader. Again, like I said, critical wave around spot on the line because Greg Holtz is on the lead lap and about to be lapped by Austin Edwards. And look at the mess your race leader is in.
I do not envy Austin Edwards. I guarantee you that man is holding his breath right now. Being in that mess, these guys are being fairly good about letting him get by here, and he looks like he might actually clear this lap traffic in a lap or 2, but that had to be a little bit scary with some of the netcode issues and other stuff going on, and he has just been behind everything that's happened tonight, so he's very, very happy to be almost clear of this mess.
We're 2nd on track. Octavio Rondoletto, power move inside on Babinger on the apron. And they're nearly 4 wide off of turn 4 with drivers coming into the pits. That can't work.
No, Rondoletto wisely backed out of it for a minute. It pays off. Babinger gets loose, and he gets the position.
My, oh my, that got crazy. And wow, I don't know what to say about that except wow. Absolutely insane.
Rondoletto was on the bottom of that 4 wide. His teammate Gregorio was on the top of that 4 wide. If he had, if any mistake had happened, it could have wiped out that entire team here tonight.
So now with Rondoletto up to second, the gap though is increasing every time for Austin Edwards. It is now up to 3.6 seconds. 15.67 last time by for the 66. Now it's a 15.71. Rondoletto a 15.76 as a bunch of drivers coming on in. With that, that should put them, the drivers that are currently pitting, at a one-stop strategy. This is lap 250. The window could go to about lap 325. So everyone has about 1 to 2 stops left.
Yeah, I think everybody can make it from here on one stop. So once we see this stop, there will be one more time that they do, and I really think we're going to see a couple of guys stretch it as far as they can here and make that stop as late as possible. We saw at North Wilkesboro, guys who made that last pit stop very, very late ended up coming out ahead on that deal. Normally, you want to make that stop a little bit earlier into the run so you don't have to worry about it in that last 20 laps, but different strategies worked really well at North Wilkesboro, might work well here.
Now, guys like Austin Edwards, Octavio Rondoletto, Clinus LaBeouf, they got time to work. They last pitted just before lap 200. Oh, boy, in front of LaBeouf, Logan Jones up on his side. Did he save it? He did somehow.
See if we can get... Trying to see if we can get the replay on what happened. He bounced off the wall and clipped another car, several cars managing to avoid him. And, yeah, that's something you don't see every day.
Not been a good night for Logan Jones, indeed. I don't know how he's still running in 22nd spot. So, as I was saying, Edwards, Rondoletto, and LaBeouf, they pitted just before lap 200, so they got a lot of time to work, just about maybe 20 laps or so before they have to come in for their first of 2 stops left, I would assume. Because that would put him on lap 275. So once cycles, oh, we got one around again, and the yellow is out, and this is going to change everything. Mike Stoddard is around and stopped in turn number 4.
And Logan Jones had wrecked just before that. He had spun on the back straightaway off the nose of the 22 car. And now let's see what happened to Stoddard.
Oh, that's off Blake Wynn. And that could be a DQ for Blake, because remember, he got black flagged earlier.
Connection issues.
Yeah.
And it looks like Stoddard just got turned. The car behind him just drove into the back bumper. And, yeah, turned him around. Mike Stoddard making a very smart move. He held his brakes there and lets everybody get by before he starts trying to get back out on track. So we've seen a couple of guys on this track tonight that didn't hold their brakes and caused a little bit more chaos. Mike Stoddard made the right move there.
Absolutely. So we are going to take another break. Stay with us. We've got just over 100 laps to go here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Just an update, by the way, on Blake Wynn. We were wrong. Having a penalty for internet connection issues is not a strike. The waves go to Clinus LaBeouf and Greg Holes.
And let's see, that's only going to end up with, if I could be reading this wrong, but it looks like based on the last time we were here, it looks like 5 cars on the lead lap on this restart. So interesting situation. And a quick update on Mike Stoddard. Currently, he only lost about 2 spots. He is back to 17th now.
So the leader we have on our end is we're on lap 267 of 375 is Jordan Babinger, and this should put Clinus LaBeouf in second. Biggest mover of the race up 30 spots, Jonathan Schwartz up to 8th.
Nobody is surprised by that one at all. He is a lap down early on, got just marched his way through the field, managed to stay out of the chaos, and here he is back in the top 10.
So let's see if we get the lights off the pace truck this time by. While we wait, XCAL is looking for series sponsorship. When you total up all expenses from hosting to broadcasting, each event costs $150 to $200 to produce. We gladly accept full and partial sponsorships. If interested, go to xcalracing.com, click more, and sponsor us.
And while it's on my mind, a huge shout out to XCAL for their support. They supported another league last night that was doing a cancer fundraiser with a donation that helped put the Outlaws United League over $3,000 for the American Cancer Society. So huge shout out to Aaron Hillbush and everybody at XCAL.
Absolutely. So it should be about 140 green to go when we take the green flag, and Babinger will have a significant lead over Clinus LaBeouf when we take the restart, because remember, LaBeouf got a wave, same with Greg Holes, and those were the only 2 that got a wave, and because of that they have to start tail end. Same with Austin Edwards too. So that's the battle we'll watch closely when we go back to green for second between LaBeouf and Edwards. They would love a caution quickly so then they can catch up to Jordan Babinger. Everyone has 1 stop left as we come back to green.
And green flag, Babinger fires away off into turn 1. Nobody's going to try and find him up there. Meanwhile, LaBeouf back there in second. Austin Edwards in third. LaBeouf gets through several cars down the back straightaway, trying to make his way back up to Babinger here as he makes it 3 wide off into 1.
Oh boy, that got close there with John Friley, as LaBeouf still holding off Austin Edwards. That's your best battle on track. We've got a good battle for 11th as well brewing between Steven Rex and Tyler McRae possibly in just a couple of moments. T. Cray just 1 car separating the teammates. That's Andrews between the 28 and the 99.
And Austin Edwards now right to the back bumper of Clinus LaBeouf. They got through the 3 lap cars that were right there with him, including the 454 of Luke Turpin, who's running in 7th, 1 lap down. He's right there. They managed to negotiate past him. So these guys are really, really fast. Turpin is not one you expect to see a lap down, but here we are. Southern National, always the game changer.
Absolutely. You never know what's going to happen here at SNMP, but Jordan Babinger continues to lead with a 3-second lead over Clinus LaBeouf and Austin Edwards, and we are just going to continue to monitor this battle.
Rondoletto now trying to fight his way through, get back up there into that front group, and he's got a ton of cars, including Jeremy Leto right in front of him, that he's going to have to work around, and that could get very interesting. Leto has had a rough night. His cars hit everything, and he hits Rondoletto.
Boy, that got close with Leto.
I really think, Leto's been involved in everything. He's been around countless times. He's got some damage to that car, and you got to think he is struggling and fighting that car every single lap. You know Leto's not one that's going to come down like that if he can avoid it, and we've seen that car just be on the edge of out of control all night.
No question about it. LaBeouf is we're getting reports that LaBeouf is blinking a little bit. Just imagine what it would be like if LaBeouf gets warned for having a high connection issue. That was a thing, by the way, on his end last week, too, at Oxford.
Yeah, he's and there he goes. He just blinked again, came back, but it is definitely becoming a problem. And as we talked about, this track does bring out the gremlins, and LaBeouf really does not want that right now. He is having his best run since his return to XCAL, and definitely has a car that could win here tonight. He's gaining on, slowly but surely, gaining on Babinger, and if he can get up there, I think he could give Babinger a run for his money.
My goodness, look at these times. 15:58 for LaBeouf, 16:10 for Babinger.
And Babinger's in mostly clean air. I mean, he's got a teammate right in front of him, but he's in mostly clean air here.
Something tells me that LaBeouf may have taken 4 fresh tires, because he's got a 28.65 pit time. Babinger is 16.27. I think that is what is going on, and that's the best battle on track for second still. Edwards not giving up, still all over the rearview mirror of Clinus LaBeouf. Greg Hull's currently right now top 5 spot. First time I believe he's been in the top 5 today. Currently ways behind Ron DeLetto and ways ahead of Kenny Tripp.
Yeah, and with Babinger leading, it'd be a good time to go through the Snap Mobile Shop cars.
Absolutely. The 99 to go summary brought to you by snapmobile.shop, the official mobile shop of Tyler McRae. Visit snapmobile.shop and use code McRae99, all one word, and save 10% on accessories and connection fees on the Verizon 5G network. So I know we passed it a lot. We're at 89 to go technically right now, I believe. So let's see how they're doing. Highest car right now. First, let's talk about Tyler McRae, currently running in the 12th position. Some damage to the front end. Currently, I believe, 5 laps down. Right now, the highest Snap Mobile car on track is, no question about it, your leader, Jordan Babinger. And the lead has come down to a half second as Clinus and Austin are like Jaws approaching the 48. Other snapmobile.shop updates, Steven Rex is 11th. As I continue to scroll through here, Sean Patrick 27th. And we had one more, I believe. And I believe Trevor Birchmeyer and R100, they're both out of the race. But the battle for the lead is on here, Doug.
Yeah, it did not take long. Clinus has charged right to the back bumper of Babinger, and now it's about to get very, very, very busy for that 48 car. He is one of the top guys in XCAL, but I think it, like you mentioned, I think it's a strategy thing. I don't think he's got the tires that LaBeouf does, and here we go. We've got a battle for the lead as Clinus drops to the low side.
Look who else is in the battle as well. Octavio Rondolano. It's a 4-car battle for the lead. Side by side in turns 3 and 4. You've got a new leader. It's Clinus LaBeouf to the point at lap 293.
And 4 of the top guys. Clinus up there with 3 of the top guys in XCAL. He's about to have his hands full with Austin Edwards and Octavio Rondoletto. Babinger's tires are just giving up. He is going backwards right now, and he drops back to 4th. And now these 4 are just going to be single file here, but I don't think Austin Edwards is going to be patient for long. He wants that lead back.
Rondoletto, though, is closed in. Last lap, though, was a 15.92, but here we go. Edwards inside. Oh, we got a crash, by the way. Wait, is the yellow going to come out? We had Andrews and Sukup go around. I don't think we're going to have a yellow. Rondoletto inside. Edwards takes the lead.
Looking to see what happened to Andrews here as he goes off into 1 and 2. And we did mention it once he just loses it and bounces off the inside wall and drifts up. And somebody looked like Sukup was just trying to get evasive, thought he was coming up the track and tried to go low and lost it. But back up front, Austin Edwards is right there. Rondoletto right on his back bumper. And quick look to see, and the 99 is there on the high side going backward. Klinus still hanging with them, and Greg Hulls is now up to 4th.
Jordan Babinger has come down pit road for his final stop of the race.
I have to wonder, Babinger might have planned this out, the strategy out perfectly here. He stops now. He can go the distance on fuel, on tires. He can do it all, and it might, when these guys come through and pit, he'll be the fastest one out there on those fresh tires. It might give him an advantage here. We'll have to wait and see how the strategy plays out. We've seen a lot of different strategies work in recent weeks.
And horsepower always provides an exit on the pit exit. So Austin Edwards leads it once again. Remember, he won the first race at SNMP. Whoa, Sean Patrick in the attenuator. Did he just lose it entering pit road?
Looking as he comes down the front straightaway, heavy damage to the front of that car from earlier. And yes, it looks like he just got up on he was trying to get up, didn't get woed up enough and got into the barrels there. And that may be the end of his night.
Just came in way too hot, currently in 28th position.
You know, Jonathan Schwartz, he just got lapped by the leaders again. He is currently running in 7th, still working his way up, trying to run down Luke Turpin up just a little ways ahead of him. Again, Schwartz always there at the end of the race, and if his strategy plays out, he is in the position to get waved around back to the lead lap here. If he gets back to the lead lap, these guys at the front might need to worry just a little bit.
Steven Rex, Tyler McRae now in pit road. The leaders right now mostly last pitted on lap 260, just approximate number. As Rondoletto still trying to close in, gap now about a half second on Austin Edwards. Don't really have a lot of action on the track as we speak, as a lot of gaps between cars ahead and behind have really increased to over 5 seconds. We've got one that's like a 4-second distance between Brett Edgar and Jeremy Leto, and that's a battle for 18th on track. Nice job so far from Brett Edgar in his XCAL debut. Up 15 spots from the start of the race. Started in, I want to say, 33rd, and it's up to 18th.
Yeah, he is definitely having a good run and definitely making the Edgar family proud here. They might want to look and see if they got any more family that wants to race. They're definitely a great racing family out here. And interestingly enough, last time by, I heard an engine blow, and I see some smoke on pit road. So, you know, a lot of these cars with heavy damage, the engine can only handle so many times it gets hit, and we might start seeing some attrition. We've already lost a few cars during the race, but we might start seeing a bit more here before too much longer.
Right now, I think we've got about maybe 28 drivers running on track. I don't know. We had a huge wreck earlier in the race that took out at least a dozen cars underneath the first caution. Kendrick Cryer getting reports that he is coming in this time. LaBeouf still running in 3rd. Top 4 have not changed in a while. Update you on Jordan Babinger's situation. He is currently in 8th position and closing in fast on JB Smooth. 15.3, 15.9 his last time by. Schwartz a 16.22, and that's what happens when you have 27 lap difference in tires.
Yeah, this track with the 17-degree banking in the corners, and then it still has the banking on the straightaway, but there's really a dive into the corner entry in 1 and 3 and a rise as you come out of 2 and 4, and it can be tricky. Fighting the car can wear the tires out a lot, but you have to run that low line. We've seen Austin Edwards is about the only car out there that has been able to run and make a move on the high side and still be fast, but yeah, this track is definitely hard on tires. Plus, the track surface is extraordinarily hard on tires.
Pardon me, that was only about a 37 lap difference as Babinger still trying to close in. Let's compare the lap times again. This time for Babinger, 16.31, Schwartz a 15.93. And by Babinger, remember, he's in dirty air. Schwartz is on fresh tire air right now, and he's got Klinus LaBeouf in front of him.
And the 99 is smoking the right rear tire almost every corner. Right in front of his teammate.
Let's watch this very closely, by the way, from Tyler McRae.
Looks like it's calmed down a little bit, but he gets a little smoke mid-corner to off corner. Those tires aren't going to last. That's another one that's had a lot of damage here tonight, and the handling is obviously off as he taps the wall a little bit down the front straightaway.
I want to update you on Daniel Miller, who's currently in 37th position. He's done for the day as his server has disconnected due to incoming packet loss. So Austin Edwards leads with just over 50 to go. We're going to take our final break, and then we're taking you to the finish. Welcome back to Southern National Motorsports Park for the XCAL Racing $2 Tuesday Series. 50 laps remain at Southern National Motorsports Park, and it is Austin Edwards that is in the race lead. Octavio Rondeletto second, Klinus LaBeouf third. Greg Holz is fourth, and he is coming down pit road. Top three are about 10 laps away from making their final stop of the race, and then everyone will be good to go to the end. But now I got a question for you, Doug. How many cautions do you think we're going to have left? Because I don't think it's a matter of if, I think it's a matter of when.
I think once the first one hits, I think we're going to see several, and because this late in the race, less than 50 to go, once that first caution comes out, everybody's going to try and get everything they can, every single restart. And I don't know how much luck Austin Edwards has left after seeing his teammates spin in front of him while we were at commercial. I don't know how much more luck he has. He does not need to see a caution. But if we see one, let's say with about 30 to go, I'd expect about 3 more after that.
A yellow would definitely change everything. In my opinion right now, I think Octavio Rondeletto and Klinus LaBeouf are the best on the short runs. Would you agree with that?
Oh, easily. And Octavio tends to have less fall off in the long run. So I think those two, a caution comes out, Austin Edwards is probably going to be in a lot of trouble. As he's come, did Austin come to pit road?
Nope, not yet.
Oh.
Something we should tell you as well, there is one driver that is trying to stretch it on fuel, and I should say 2 drivers too, but one driver specifically, Jordan Babinger. He pitted from third position on lap 297, about a 75 lap fuel window. This could work in his favor.
Linus LaBeouf just hit pit road. Yeah, it could definitely work in his favor if he can keep that car clean and out of trouble as we start to see the lead cars making pit stops. But, oh, we've got a car backwards in 1 and 2. I believe that was Chase Johnson.
Take a look. And it was. And he pulls a Ricky Bobby into pit road. Shouldn't be an issue. Not what Johnson wanted. In 26, got some damage earlier on at the start of the race. And now what he wanted is we continue to watch LaBeouf and see where he pits out.
Meanwhile, Austin Edwards, Octavio Rondoletto still turning laps, and Octavio continuing to, he's not as fast as we're used to seeing, but I'm guessing once he gets clear of some of this lap traffic, he might be able to close back in on Austin. But the lap traffic is really going to be the great decider here. But Octavio is flying through these lap cars right now.
Let's watch a battle for 11th here as it's Kendrick Cryer and Steven Rex. About 3/4 of a second separating those drivers in a battle for 11th position. Luke Turpin's in, Jonathan Schwartz, Riley Duncan is in. Now, trying to figure out the gap between LaBeouf and Babinger, and I actually think LaBeouf has actually overtaken Babinger.
Yeah,
and he has 7.5 second lead for LaBeouf over Babinger, currently in that position. This race could play out in Linus LaBeouf's favor. We'll just have to see. There is still a lot of racing left, 60 laps to go.
And LaBeouf coming up on some lap traffic. He's not getting a lot of cooperation right now, but yeah, he is definitely running faster, and that a lot of that's going to come down to he has 20 some odd lap fresher tires. Rondoletto is on pit road, gives up second spot now.
And that's about maybe 8 laps worn tires, 8 laps fresher tires Rondoletto will have over Linus LaBeouf. Now when does Austin Edwards come in is the real question. And he'll have the freshest tires of that top 3. If we have a car spun, it's Jeff Edgar trying to come into pit road in 2.
Looked like he just spun and ended up trying to enter pit road sideways. Not the exact right way you want to enter pit road, but he clears the racing surface. A lot of smoke all over the track right now as guys getting to pit road and guys coming off pit road as we're seeing the last cycle of green flag stops. And you got to think, I mean, we've been a long time with green flag. If everybody cycles through here and we do not have a caution due to stuff going on pit road, this race may stay green to the end with 30 laps to go.
You won't believe this. Octavio Rondoletto's pit time, 16:02. LaBeouf at 31:05. So Rondoletto took less fuel than Linus LaBeouf to make it to the end. Could this be in Octavio's favor now as Austin Edwards hits the pits?
We talked about it earlier. Octavio, some of these guys are playing checkers. Some of them are playing chess. Octavio's playing multi-level chess in Star Trek. He's just that far ahead of everybody. We see his strategy work week in and week out, and I really think tonight might just be his night as now Austin Edwards is on pit road and Octavio Rondoletto to the lead.
And now let's see here. 4 laps fresher tires. Edwards will have the advantage over, and they have lapped Linus LaBeouf. So Rondoletto and Edwards did the same strategy. LaBeouf does something different, and that could take him out of a chance for a top 3. Not over yet, though. 13 seconds behind Kenny Tripp, and obviously a yellow would change everything. But a lot of racing left. Like I said, there's just about 30 laps to go.
And 3 cars left on the lead lap. So, yeah, a yellow right now would definitely change everything. And as... oh, and we might get it right here as a spin right in front of the leader.
And there it is. John Friley has crashed. You called it.
Let's
2 weeks in a row it happened. That you and I have just predicted it.
And let's see, the 2 car just gets on the gas sooner than Friley. Friley turns around. Great save by Austin Edwards, Octavio Rondoletto. Several cars getting up into the wall. And I cannot tell who that was that hit the inside or the outside wall.
Andrews.
John Andrews. Sean Andrews. He was trying to avoid that and lost a. Looked like he may have lost a wheel and most of his front. Yeah, he lost most of his front end and a wheel.
This is gonna be interesting to see how this race plays out. Everyone's good to go to the end. Kenny Tripp comes into pit road. Now I don't think he stopped at all before the yellow flag came out, so he comes in now. Now, if I'm correct, this should put is that Jordan Babinger in? It is Jordan Babinger just topping off on fuel, so he can be good to the end. May do some fresher tires too. So as I look at this, I want to say Tripp, LaBeouf, and Babinger get the wave. So maybe Turpin now over Babinger. But this will definitely put Rondeletto and Edwards on the front row, and they've got about a 2.5 lap advantage over Clinus LaBeouf, soon to be 1.5. The black flag goes to Bowen Smith. We're about to get the waves now.
And
Kenny Tripp gets one. Clinus LaBeouf gets one. And it should go to either Babinger or Turpin. Let's see who they give it to. I don't think they will give it to... Luke Turpin gets it over Babinger. So definitely not what the 48 wanted for a yellow.
And just to think, had he stayed out another lap and waited for that to happen, he could have came in, topped off. But now he's going to be a lap down. Still not a bad night for Babinger, though. He's just outside of the top 5.
When you look at the points, by the way, it's an 8-point lead for Babinger over Turpin. Babinger has led laps. I don't think Turpin has. And so there's bonus points for Babinger. So watch that closely in the points battle. They're your top 2 in the standings. So we know Rondeletto and Edwards are on the front row. Then Clinus LaBeouf, who I think is actually going to be on the lead lap now. And he will. In 3rd position. He's going to be on the tail end. He's going to want to hope for another yellow. And I believe the same will go for Kenny Tripp.
You know something I just noticed looking at Clinus? He had a problem earlier. He started blinking earlier. When I tried to look at him a minute ago, there he goes. That could be a really big problem. Some of these guys, you'll see a little bit of blinking when they're under caution, just due to the way that the sim reads everything. But hopefully his blinking stops once we go green again, and he does not have any further problems there.
We will have under 20 laps to go. When we go back to green, 4 cars on the lead lap. Rondeletto and Edwards on the front row. Kenny Tripp and LaBeouf will need another caution if they want to try and win this thing, because there is going to be a flurry of lap cars right between the first row and where Tripp and LaBeouf are. Tripp's actually ahead of LaBeouf when we go back to green. Pace truck is in. 19 to go here at SNMP.
Off into turn 1, I fully expect some chaos back behind, and Austin Edwards is the only car we've seen. We're wrecking in 1 and 2. No caution yet as the leaders come through 3 and 4. We'll see if they drop it. If not, we'll try and look. Jose Godino, Tyler Batchelder, several cars around. Everybody gets clear. Austin Edwards, the only car able to pass on the high side tonight, but he has not been able to get around Octavio yet.
I can tell you this, Tripp and LaBeouf did get by. Crossover for Edwards, inside for the lead.
Smart move by Edwards. He puts Rondeletto on the high side, forces Rondeletto to have to do this the hard way, and Rondeletto does it. He sends it off into 3 and 4.
Oh.
No, Austin Edwards back on the inside.
Sent it in way too deep. Austin Edwards to the lead.
Oh, this is going to be a battle to the end. We're staying green, and a reminder, at 5 laps to go, there will be no more cautions. So, and after 10 laps to go, there will be no more wave around. So anything can happen from here on out.
Just had a change for third. They're side by side. LaBeouf and Tripp too close for contact. And LaBeouf blinks again. He's got to be very careful.
Yeah, he is blinking right there with a bunch of cars around him, right behind him as well. Any mistake could be problematic. Meanwhile, Luke Turpin off to the lead, and let's try and take a quick look at what happened on that restart.
Go for it.
As they come out, we're watching Jose Godino as they go off into turn one. He laid back a little bit. It looked like, oh, the 20 gets turned, and then several cars back behind are caught. Looks like Tyler McRae may have been caught in that. The 53, the 20. But they get low enough and stay straight enough that they manage to keep going. Looks like it was Godino, Batchelder, Rex, and Jeff Edgar caught in that.
So now we've got 11 laps to go. Next time by, the wave arounds will be done for the rest of this race. It's a two-horse shootout. Austin Edwards, Octavio Rondeletto. Edwards going for 7 wins this season and trying to sweep at Southern National. Rondeletto looking for win number 2 on the season. Who you got your money on? It's going to be a dandy finish to the end.
You gotta think Rondeletto is going to find a way back by here. He wants this. I know Austin wants it, but he's got several races this season. Rondeletto only won. Oh, Rondeletto's into the wall!
Yellow's out! No yellow, no yellow! What on earth happened?
Rondeletto bounced off another car and hit the wall. I'm trying to see
what? Oh. And somehow his front bumper came off, but it came back on. And is there a change for third? Nope, I thought there was as LaBeouf and Tripp continue to battle. But that opens up Edwards' lead to a lot. 1.2 second lead for Austin Edwards. Looking to go back-to-back and win number 7 on the season. He's coming to 6 laps to go this time by. Next time by. Green, green, green.
Wow, and Austin Edwards might walk away with this due to another car making a mistake. We'll have to get some data because I am not sure that it was not one of Austin Edwards' teammates that got into Rondeletto there as they were trying to get out of the way and just made a mistake as somebody's smoking coming off 4 down the back straightaway, and the 454 looked like he was ducking to pit road out of power. We've got 4 laps to go. No matter what happens, there will be no caution, and last week we saw chaos.
I can tell you this, by the way, Linus LaBeouf has increased the lead on Kenny Tripp for 3rd, so likely LaBeouf will get, I believe, his first podium of the season. 3 laps to go for Austin Edwards, and it's just been a great show for the driver of the number 66. Had to pass Linus LaBeouf and Jordan Babinger to get to the point the rest of the way and didn't look back. 2 laps to go in Southern National, less than a mile remaining for Austin Edwards. Now you just think of the question, can he get double-digit wins? Well, guess what? It's likely. The record in XCAL competition is 9. He could break that record. 1 lap to go here in North Carolina for Austin Edwards.
There was a car broken on the bottom through 1 and 2. Austin Edwards stays high as they come through 3 and 4. Rondeletto actually closed up a lot, but it won't be enough. Austin Edwards gets win number 7 and drifts it through 1 and 2.
Great win for the K2 Motorsports number 66. It is back-to-back. Rondeletto 2nd. Linus LaBeouf comes home in 3rd. His best XCAL finish, I believe, this season.
It definitely was, and he's only, 3 races into his return and still managed to pull off a top 3. Kenny Tripp comes home 4th. Babinger recovers to 5th. Schwartz, no surprise, he is in 6th.
Biggest mover in the race, unofficially Turpin, up 34, but officially it's counted to Schwartz, up 32, as Edwards lights it up and tags the rear end.
And I gotta ask, how many of the Hard Charger Awards have gone to Schwartz this season? Because he has done this just about every week. I don't think he has started inside the top 20.
Too much to count, I believe. We're gonna talk with a couple of drivers here. We'll have your top 3, but there's one driver I would like to talk with specifically, and I'm gonna try and grab him. I don't actually think he is in the team chat. That is Jordan Babinger. I'm going to try and scroll through and see if I can find him here. I don't think he is. So we're gonna get all our top 3 all in a chat, and just stay with us as we get them all locked and loaded in here. So we'll get Logan. We'll get Linus. I believe he is in the top 3 is all in the green room. So I need to start off. I gotta start off with my guy, Linus LaBeouf. Linus, how about that run, buddy? That was awesome tonight.
Oh, dude, that was. Oh, it's a long time coming, man. I team put in one hell of a job at the shop, and glad to bring this 03 down to the podium. Dude, that's awesome.
Best run of the season by far. Were you just hoping for a caution after the final restart just so you could get up there with Edwards and Rondeletto and possibly have a chance at the win? Because you seem like you had one of the best short run cars of the night.
Man, at that point, I really don't know. I thought Austin was going to be short on fuel and was trying to save, and Octavio maybe races a little sketchy, and maybe Austin races a little sketchy. But just to solidify points in top 3, I was okay with that. You know, these past couple weeks have been pretty tough, coming home like 14th, and I came in this race. I'm like, top 10, I'll take that. That would be awesome. But like, I got told last race that I'm a lap down, it doesn't matter, and the person that told me is now a lap down in this race, and now we're sitting on the podium. So great points tonight for BBM in the 03 DeWalt car.
I've seen as well, ever since you've had that throwback scheme, you've been running really well. Any sponsors you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to BBM for giving me a second chance in the season. I want to give a shout out to my parents for helping me along with the simulator journey, and I want to give a shout out to my Twitch channel, Clinus_LaBeouf. Go check it out.
Finest, you got the Big Block Motorsports team extremely hyped. Congrats on a great run tonight, man.
Thank you.
Linus LaBeouf comes home in the 3rd position. Let's get Octavio Rondeletto on in here. Doug's with him.
Octavio, man, a 2nd place finish tonight. I know it's not the win, but I know it's got to be a rewarding finish after the last few weeks of this season.
Hello, Marty, Doug, Paul. I really enjoyed the race. It was fun. I want to say congratulations for Austin at first. He was so strong tonight. And well, finishing top 3 is really important for the championship. And I think I am strong now, in difference the last 3-4 races ago.
Well, man, congratulations. A heck of a run. Several weeks ago, you were talking about selling the team. No reason to do it now. You have been a force to be reckoned with the last few weeks.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to all the team, Juncos, Gregorio Dorso, my teammate, and well, all the sponsors, Libre Argentina, Distribuidora Delta, y Comer River Plate.
Congratulations on a 2nd place finish, and congratulations for breaking the bad luck streak, and hopefully you keep it going and get the win next week, bud.
Thank you.
So that is Octavio Rondeletto. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to go to K2 Victory Lane, and for the 2nd week in a row, Paul Coleman Jr. gets to talk with his buddy Austin Edwards.
Austin, this is like old hat. Hey, I got to tell you something. This is lucky number 7, but that now puts you in 2nd place overall in XCAL history with the most amount of wins. 2nd all time for 7. You're only 2 off of 9. We still got, 13, 14 more races to go. That record may look like it's going to shatter, like the time I dropped a bottle of K2 on the way down here. Anyways, Austin, tell me about the race. Tell me thoughts, feelings, what's going on?
Southern National, it's always chaos. Had a couple of Days of Thunder moments where even left and right trying to stay out of the disasters, especially the one that happened on the back sheet early on. But this is a crazy race overall, bouncing back and forth around the top 7, trying to get that fuel strategy right. Obviously, at the end there, Octavia had me beat on the fuel run. I took about a half gallon too much, and that cost me a lot of time. So you got back ahead of me, and luckily just had the raw speed to bring it back. And the Southern Nat car is really moving, just like it did earlier this season.
Yeah, it was shaping up to be one heck of a green flag finish there before that yellow. So that was going to be my other question. There was pit strategy. What were you thinking there? But I was just wondering if I needed to hire a new pit crew or not. That was kind of what I was looking at.
Yeah, I mean, Southern National's a small track. You can only expect so much trying to stay on the lead lap. So, there's a lot of gauging where the pace car's at and trying to make it out of pit road before it closes down. And of course, failed at that one time, ended up with an EOL penalty. But I was able to come back from that, just like I did at Oxford, with shoot how many laps left to go. So, um, just had the raw speed to bring it home. I don't know what I've got with Southern National, but got it figured out. Obviously, Octavio was right behind me there at the end and started to fall off. I think the long run speed in this number 66 is what's carrying it to victory lane every single week.
Absolutely, no, really impressive run too for Octavio there. I think he might be kind of your best competition here going forward. He's really strong and kind of peaking right now at the right moment. Ran into some lap traffic towards the end there, and that's I think you were able to pull ahead there. But he was right with you. We go to Phoenix next week. Thoughts on that? Getting out to the West Coast, closer to your hometown.
I haven't ran the street stocks of many big tracks. Obviously, at Michigan didn't have the biggest luck in the All Star race and whatnot. But Phoenix is a whole different animal. Obviously, it's close to home. I've seen it first person. I know some of the characteristics of the track, but it's a huge track. It's completely different characteristics, and got to bring a whole different ball game there. So just gonna have to wait and see how it goes.
Absolutely. Hey, Doug Murdy, any questions down here?
I got one for Austin. So really, the race was definitely changed when you and Kleinis and Octavia were able to get by Jordan Babinger. Were you expecting like Babinger, considering what he was doing? He had last pitted on lap 297 at the time, or just around saving fuel.
Yeah, I wasn't sure exactly what Babinger was doing. Obviously, track position is important here, so I think that's what he was going for towards the end. But unfortunately, the tires also make a big difference. So by the time myself, Octavio, and Clients were able to get around, it was just over for him. So really, really tight competition up front. Obviously, Octavio and Clients putting up some really impressive speed. Unfortunate for some drivers like Turpin and Cryer and Johnson that were really, really fast as well, had the bad luck. And even my teammate Charlie Beals, he was one of the fastest cars out here, and he had some bad luck early on. So obviously, half the factor of winning these races is surviving. And luckily for me, I only went through 3 pairs of underwear, so it worked out just fine.
And then you also pitted later than Rondeletto on the final stop, giving you fresher tires by about 4 laps. Was that an advantage there on that final restart?
I think it might have been a small advantage, but at the end of the day, with this number 66 and the consistency it has, I don't think it really would have mattered too badly if we were on the same tires or newer tires, what was going on there. But my biggest thing was hoping that a caution wasn't going to come out after I had gone to the pit road, because obviously that'll shuffle around the field, end up laps down. So I just wanted to make sure Rondeletto was to the pit before I went, because I didn't want to end up laps down and throw the whole race out with like 30 to go after leading most of the things. So fuel was, or laps down was a bigger factor than tires. But I mean, new tires do help. It helped me pull that little over-under move on Rondeletto out of 4, and that's what brought this thing to victory lane. So,
Awesome.
Doug, I know wants to ask you about the lottery.
Yeah, 2 wins in a row. Last week you said you used up all your luck, and then better than half of the incidents in front of you or happened directly in front of you tonight. Did you have any moments where you thought it was over?
I thought it was over probably, I lost count, 6 or 7 times. I mean, the major thing was the absolute disaster on the backstretch that happened a couple of times, probably 2 or 3 times to be honest with you. And just brake pedals your best friend in that scenario. So switched through that, and I think I only got 4x from this race, and that was from a restart. So for Southern National, I think that was probably the biggest factor to winning this race, is keeping the car clean.
Will you buy me a lottery ticket?
I'm telling you, dude, I don't know how much luck I got left, but I do not want to test it.
I know that you said Phoenix is not one of your best tracks, but what tracks do you see coming up to that are going to benefit you and lean toward you getting some more wins here?
I'm not terribly inconfident in Phoenix. It's just obviously a whole different ball game, like I said, going from these short little quarter miles, half miles, and whatnot to 1.5, 2 mile track. It's a completely different ball game, completely different car setup, and your mindset's got to be in a whole different place. So I don't think we'll do too bad there. I just got to see if I can get to testing, figure it out, get a head start. But all the short tracks left on the schedule, that's what I'm coming for.
All right, man. Congratulations.
One last thing, Phoenix, right, just south of Phoenix, is a casino. So if he does do 3 in a row, we're taking him out to casino
Well,
and
absolutely.
gonna rub that lucky rabbit's foot for some craps after the race. So something to look forward to Park Victory Lane. Maybe we'll win some big money, upgrade some equipment, and be 100% untouchable.
Hope it's so. We'll see how it goes.
So Austin Edwards gets the win and is in K2 victory lane, just like the sponsor on his car. The only official sauce of XCAL Racing, K2 sauce is an everything sauce. It's a barbecue sauce, steak sauce, ketchup, and more, all in one. The only sauce you ever need. Also available in hot, just like how Austin Edwards has been performing right now in
And
XCAL
coming
competition. Go ahead.
soon, coming soon,
Yes,
Southern
coming soon.
Style. We got
Southern
K2
style.
Southern Style next month.
I'll need a case of that. You can just go ahead and ship it. I'll give you my address.
Me
Sounds good,
too.
yeah. Stay tuned. We'll be giving out some fans as well. So those who are watching the broadcast, we're going to do a big push with our new Southern Style sauce.
So, the official results from tonight's XCAL Racing Webshop 375 look like this. Keep in mind they are unofficial for right now. Austin Edwards, the winner. Octavio Rondoletto, second. Clinus LaBeouf, third. Kenny Tripp, fourth. Jordan Babinger, fifth. Jonathan Short, sixth. Riley Duncan, seventh. Luke Turpin, eighth. Alex Krapser, ninth. Good top 10 finish for the number 4 team. Greg Holes, 10th. Kendrick Cryer, 11th. Stephen Rex, 12th. Tyler McCrae, 13th. Robert Colgan, 14th. Gerald Poole, 15th. Mike Stoddard, 16th. Jeremy Leto, 17th. Brett Edgar, 18th. Bowen Smith, 19th. Blake Wynn, 20th. Tyler Batchelder, 21st. Logan Jones, 22nd. Alex Skingler, 23rd. Gregorio Emiliano Dorso, 24th. Chase Johnson, 25th. Patrick Sullivan, 26th. Sean Patrick, 27th. Derek Colson, 28th. Jeff Edgar, 29th. And 30th goes to John Friley. 31st, Jose Gaudino. 32nd, Travis Sukup. 33rd, Sean Andrews. 34th, Charlie Beals. 35th, Joe Campbell. 36th, Jonathan Bronson. 37th, Daniel Miller. 38th, Art Hendren. 39th, Trevor Birchmeyer. 40th, Aiden McConaughey. 41st, Tyler Jalbert. And 42nd, Shane Briggs. So now we head over to the desert in Phoenix next week. A wide 1 mile oval. Just, Doug, what are we expecting early on here as we head into next week? I know we've been there already once this season.
Well, I know last time we were there earlier in the season, and it was a bit of a wild one. We saw guys setting up to run really high through 1 and really low through 3, and a lot of different. That track has so many different lines, so many different ways you can run it. It is the legacy version, so no silly cut through the middle. You have to drive the actual track, and it makes things interesting, and we saw a lot of excitement in the kink on the back straightaway. I fully expect to see a lot more of that, and who knows who will come out on top on that one. It's going to be a wild one.
Absolutely, and as we are nearly 2/3 through the season complete, Babinger extends his points lead on Luke Turpin by about, I want to say about 15 or so. Maybe even 20. So point standings will be updated tomorrow at www.xcalracing.com. That Turpin Babinger battle to the end of the season is going to be something to watch out for. But don't be surprised if Austin Edwards has something to say about it.
Yeah, Austin Edwards has got to be getting a lot closer to these guys, and if he continues winning every single race, I'd imagine he'll be in the lead in a couple of weeks. So that's going to be a fun one to watch as well.
Absolutely. So we are going to bid adieu on this broadcast. Special thanks to our sponsors, Butt Kicker, K2 Sauce, Higgins Spotter Pack, More Polish Pottery, Sim Racer Coin, SnapMobile.shop, Tri-E Inc., and our sponsor tonight for the race, the XCAL Racing Webshop. On behalf of everyone at XCAL Racing, our president, Aaron Hillebush, our vice president, PDJ Zeller, the senior admins of XCAL Racing, Paul Coleman Jr., as well as Jeremy Leto, Derek Colson, yours truly, and a whole lot more others. Now, on behalf of our producer and co-commentator, Doug Burns in the booth with me tonight, does a great job as always. I'm Marty Sakala, signing off for How to Suck at iRacing. We congratulate Austin Edwards as he picks home his 7th win of the season. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Take care, everyone.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.